This is day 3, video 3. You should have just finished up the second video, which should have given you a new perspective. Now, in this video, my goal is to start showing you how to start captaining this ship. This is where the work comes in. This is how I think every day. I get up in the morning. Actually, I lay in bed and meditate for 10 minutes, and then I get up in the morning. And I don my captain hat. I think, all right, I am captain of my ship. I am in charge of keeping that fear system off, making sure my AI is turned off and my subconscious mind is mitigated to this little thing. I need to make sure I nourish and activate and awaken identity, because that girl has my sunlight. And I need to make sure I tune into intuition. And I need to make sure that where I want to go, identity, is aligned with the winds and the sails and the sea. And intuition is giving me information to make sure that I'm going the right way. We talk about wellness like drink water, eat breakfast, make sure you exercise every morning, take your vitamins. We talk about wellness, about the physical body. And in my world, that is such a small, important, but small fragment of wellness. In my world, in my life, wellness isn't good enough. This is something that I refer to as optimal mental health. Because I don't want to just be mentally healthy. I don't want to just be sane. I dream big. I am ambitious. That is about as authentic a truth as I can put out there. I am ambitious. I want optimal mental health. I mean, I want my system mentally to be running so smoothly that I don't have to think about it. I want to enjoy life. I don't want subconscious mind to constantly derail my happiness and my goals. I don't want to go to a party and suddenly have to do maintenance on subconscious mind because fear and Jerry is having a mental breakdown in the middle of a party. Been there, done that, did not enjoy it. I want optimal mental health. To get optimum mental health, you have to first realize your own strength, growth, and learning ability. You have to realize that you're an adult now and you can do. Now, I love to play. I love imagination. My name is imagination. So I imagine, sometimes it's very real, that I put on a crown or a pirate hat and I take the helm of my ship. I really want a boat. And I want my adventures, and I want my freedoms, and I want my dreams, all of them. And identity has a huge imagination. So I have plans. I don't have time to sit in the brig and think that this is as good as it gets. That's not good enough for me. It shouldn't be good enough for you. It shouldn't be good enough for anybody. Because it's a lie and it's a trap. And it's not real. And every day that you are sitting in that brig, you are dying. Voice of experience. And when you get out and you start to captain your own life, you're going to hate yourself for how much time you waited. You are going to fucking hate yourself for not doing this sooner. Been there, done that. And it's absolutely the one thing everyone who heals goes through, is the kicking themselves in the ass because they waited so long to fix this. But until now, there has not been a solution. I will be the first to tell you, therapy and psychology today are inadequate. I went through the system. It was garbage, which is why I rewrote it. Because what we have is garbage, which means we get to change the game now. So the game changer is understanding your 3 life titans: subconscious mind, identity and intuition, and you, the conscious awareness. Your job is to manage this popsicle stand. That is your job. That is your role. That is what you should have been taught as a child. That is what your parents should have been taught as children. This is the shit you should be teaching your children. I did not teach my youngest daughter. I did not teach my oldest daughter this stuff. My daughter is a narcissist who won't talk to me. I started teaching my son this stuff. He's got work to do. I started teaching my youngest daughter this stuff, and she is captaining her own ship. Their children, my daughter's children, I think my son's children. I think my son will come around, but he's got a long road ahead of him. But my youngest daughter, she's already got this down. So she's already applying it. She's already using it. She's already putting things in place. She's already captain of her ship. She's already plugged into her identity. I work with her every day to teach her how to nourish her identity, because her identity is as important to me as my identity. Your identity is as important to me as my identity. So that when I talk to people, I am now very mindful about their identities and preserving their story. Because don't you ever fucking tamper with someone's story. The problem is, as you heal, your story is going to be very vulnerable and fragile. Mine is right now. And it's so vulnerable and fragile that every time I hear someone else's opinion, I can feel my story shift. So every day I have to do maintenance to, put my story back together. It's very hard. Yesterday, I went on a massive hate spree of going, keep your opinions to yourself. I really need to get better at that. But I did. Yesterday was like a breakdown, and I realized that every time someone gave me their opinion, it changed my story. And I was working so hard every day to stay vigilant, to keep correcting my story. That will eventually solidify. It's like you have a clay pot, a mold, and you've put it all together, and someone keeps poking holes in your soft clay, and you have to keep reshaping it. And now I'm just waiting for the clay to harden. And it will harden. And then I get to put it in the kiln and cook it. I'm an artist. I get to put it in the kiln and cook it. But people keep poking my goddamn soft clay. And so yesterday was a day where I kind of broke down and got angry at everybody and said, stop poking my fucking clay. And today I realized, I was upset because they were touching my clay, and I'm just waiting for it to harden. So I'm putting up boundaries. I'm using my boundaries. I just need to not use them so aggressively, because they also have stories and they also have soft clay. And right now it's just my soft clay rubbing against their soft clay, and we're getting angry at each other. That happens a lot in life. Once you understand that you're trying to preserve your story without harming everyone else's story, well, that's life, isn't it? That's balanced harmony. Is understanding that you have your story and they have their story. And you can sit down very carefully and go, do you want to see my story? I'm going to show you my story. But I don't want my story to interfere with your story. So can we just quietly show each other our stories and go, ooh, it's an awesome story you've got. Look at mine. But I don't want your story to interfere with mine, because it's not cooked yet in the kiln. And that person would also say, yeah, mine's not cooked in the kiln either, but I really want to see your story. Okay, let's do this very quietly and gently. We're going to show each other our stories. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And then we'll just respect that our stories are going to be different, because it's really important right now that our stories don't interfere with each other, because we're all new and we're soft molds right now, and we need to harden up. Once we harden up, then we can start swapping stories. The problem is, at some point in society, we lost boundaries. We lost our defense system. And then when we lost our defense system, it made our perspectives and our stories vulnerable to the opinions and stories of others. So that a lot of the gaslighting that took place wasn't on purpose. It was unintentional. But there was a lot of friendly fire. So when you realize that you're ready to claim your authority as captain of the ship, there's a process. Tomorrow, I will be breaking down that process, and I will be walking you through captaining the ship. For now, today, I want to paint the picture for you. I want to show you what it is you're walking into. I want to show you all the parts. This is the part where I have taken you by the hand. I'm going to very quietly and gently lead you out of the brig, and I'm just going to show you your ship, okay? You are just going to look at your ship. You can go back to the brig when you're done, curl up in the corner and think about it. And I'm going to leave that door for you unlocked. You can come out anytime you want, but I'm going to show you what I see. So upstairs, we have the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind has a fear system that it uses as backup. It accesses the fear system only when your defense system is down. Now, your defense system is your communication center. It is your ability to communicate boundaries and enforce them. To do this, it is completely hardwired into your communication center. Writing and speaking. The more you write and the more you speak, the more your voice gets defined. And your voice belongs to identity. 100%. The voice is the very first thing that we lose when we are abused. Our voice is taken away from us, usually as children, so that we're not allowed to speak, we don't know how to speak, and we lose our communication system. As backup, when the communication system fails, when the defense system goes down, that makes us vulnerable to abuse. When the abuse happens, the subconscious mind sends out a massive red alert and calls in the backup, the fear system, which is run by something I call the Jerry. The Jerry steps forward and starts creating mental illnesses, putting them in place to change your story so you can stay safe and survive. Identity, the core of your love and the building blocks of your ethics, are absolutely the workings of who you are and your entire ship. But you received the message. It's not safe enough to love. So the subconscious mind turns on the identity and throws her away. Bit by bit, piece by piece, the subconscious mind rips her apart and then wipes your memory, because memory is linked to identity, which is why so many of us have sieve brain or trauma-induced amnesia. It is because the subconscious mind will do anything to keep you safe, including forgetting what you love. If you are traumatized, if you are abused, try it right now. Can you list 5 things that you love? Not people, things, elements. Can you do it? If you can't, it's because your subconscious mind has taken your identity and thrown her away and then wiped your memory of what you love. Do I have your attention now? When identity goes away, you immediately are filled with abandonment and rejection. That hollow, empty, cold takes over. Because identity softens all of this. So that when you feel emotions generating from your cognitive core, we're going to talk about that in a minute, you are supposed to feel those feelings that merge with love, and they don't hurt as much. Emotions feel like level 2 and level 3 when they are combined with identity, love. But if you have no love, if you have lost identity, those emotions are going to feel like level 10, and they're going to hurt you a lot. But by bringing identity back, it really softens those emotions. It creates a cocktail, and it reduces the emotions down to levels 1 and 2. So they actually don't hurt at all when you have access to identity. The cognitive core is the processing center. It is the process of taking your life experiences and your data, your beliefs, and mixing them with your ethics and your identity to form a story, your perspective, your point of view. When a horrible event or an abuser comes along, or neglectful parents, your system is attacked. The cognitive core is attacked. Now, the cognitive core can be attacked in many different ways. It can be attacked through the actual story itself. The perspective can be attacked. That's not how that happened. The way you see that is wrong. That is an attack on your perspective. Gaslighting is a direct attack on your story. It can be attacked by giving you limiting beliefs. You shouldn't do that. Gaslighting is when somebody, an abuser, or the society, or a religion, or propaganda, or a political figure, or your parents, or an abusive spouse, gives you information, a limiting belief, deliberately to alter your story. That becomes a limiting belief. It's not safe enough to love is a limiting belief that an event or a person communicated to you through action and behavior, which altered your story, which changed your behavior. An abuser can attack how you define love. And when they change the definition of love, it changes what identity is, and it's no longer compatible with identity. So they will supplant identity, put in a new definition of love, and throw her away. This is very common in the patriarchy. When we are given a definition of romantic love with toxic romance, where a woman serves a man, for an example, and that is no longer compatible with identity. So identity is rejected by the subconscious mind, and the new belief, the toxic romantic patriarchal love, is put in place. Another way is if a person comes along and tells you what your ethics should be. This is done through religion, or parents, or politics, or a partner. When they tell you what your ethics should be, and it contradicts your own ethics, that is when they violate and supplant your own ethics with their ethical belief. Now you have an entire cognitive core that processes an entire story completely based on someone else's information, somebody else's information, somebody else's input. They can supplant your definition of love, your ethics, your beliefs, and create an entirely new story and give you another story. This process produces emotions. This is where emotions come from. Whenever the cognitive core is functioning, whenever anything champers or changes with our ability to process new information to form a story, it produces a change that creates emotions. The subconscious mind sends these emotions to the consciousness, saying, this is what is happening with the cognitive core right now. Our society teaches us to throw those away. We throw emotions away. It's that simple. So the emotions that we get are suppressed, thrown away, ignored. And there you have it. That is the subconscious function. That is the cognitive function. In a healthy, optimal mental health person, this is what the situation actually looks like. This is where you want to be. There is no fear system. It is sleeping and it barely wakes up because your defense system is turned on. Your defense system, your communication system, works constantly, beautifully, to protect the cognitive core and its function. The subconscious mind is small, maybe 2, maybe 5%, and all it does is collect the data, puts it into the machine, and the machine processes all the information, identity, ethics, events, information, data, beliefs, and turns that into your story, your point of view. Your beautiful communication system, your defense system, make sure that no one alters this cognitive core. The communication system is aware, consciously aware of your identity, of your ethics, of your experiences, of your perception of what happened, and your story. And it is so solid in this knowledge with confidence that nothing can touch it. Likewise, you have identity, who is the celebration and the embodiment of everything you love. And you are the self, the conscious awareness, whose sole purpose is to make sure identity's voice is heard. Identity communicates to you what she wants. You take that information and you report it to intuition and you say to the universe, I want a forever home. The intuition will then go to work. We'll talk about intuition later. Intuition is the gut feeling that guides you on the right path. That is intuition. So when you have a gut feeling that tells you to go forward with something, follow it. That's intuition guiding you based on what you love and what you want. We're going to just set intuition aside. But your job is to make sure that she gets what she needs and wants and she stays safe and protected. And your entire job is literally to celebrate her. That is what we are here for. That is what we are supposed to be doing, is literally preserving and celebrating her. Identity has one agenda: the pursuit of freedom. Her pursuit of freedom is the mission to explore and define the self. And she does that through what she loves. But she has to have the freedom to define herself, to adventure, and to explore. You, the conscious awareness, your pursuit, your agenda, is the pursuit of happiness. You're probably familiar with this one. The pursuit of happiness is directly linked to whatever it is identity wants. For me, that would be a forever home. I would love a forever home. Identity wants a forever home. So my job as conscious awareness is to get her that home. She's going to tell me what it looks like, where it's located, how it's built. And it's my job as conscious awareness to put all the actions into place to make sure she gets that. Because that's what she wants. Intuition takes care of the rest. Subconscious mind is quiet and he's out of my way. And he's taking all data in and he's making sure that the cognitive core is running properly. My communication system, my voice, that's why I'm doing the healing garden. To exercise and to practice my voice, to put into action my ability to communicate my safety, my defense. And every time I step into the camera, every time I do a podcast, every time I write, I am practicing my ability to defend who and what I am. Because my purpose as the captain is to ensure that the defense system is up and operational, that the subconscious mind is obedient and submissive, that the fear system is turned off, that identity is free to be her weird, beautiful, loving self, and to make sure that I am tuned into intuition to listen when I need to change the ship's direction. That is my role as captain. That is your role as captain. Once you get this everything aligned and balanced, it runs beautifully, like a well-oiled ship. It really does run itself. But you have to be consciously aware. Every time I feel off, every time something rattles me, it's because somebody is fucking with my cognitive core. And then I need to stop. Take a day and say, nope, this is out of alignment. I need to celebrate identity, reaffirm, re-identify, revalidate what I love, what my ethics are, what I believe, and my story. That's it. Tomorrow, we are going to be covering emotional management, what the emotions mean, how to take in those emotions and process them properly, how to put them to work for you. We are going to be covering self-care regimens. Self-care regimens is what nurtures identity. Eventually, you'll be learning how to nurture and listen to intuition. Really, intuition kind of runs on her own, but you need to leave her alone. The more you leave her alone to do what she needs to do, the better things are, which is why I really don't have a lot of focus on intuition. She's not even one of the life titans, because your job is to leave intuition alone. You're supposed to listen to her when you have that gut feeling to do something, but that's about it. You really need to not interfere with intuition. That's where shit really hits the fan. So I like to leave intuition out of triadic healing. If you really want to know more about intuition, that's where my manifestation courses step in. But I don't like doing anything with intuition until you graduate from my triadic healing course, and only if you're wanting to go on to the next level. So intuition, I like to put on the shelf and say, leave her alone. Listen to her if she speaks up, but leave her alone. Right now, you need to be focused on triadic healing, getting this ship in, fix the ship, just fix the ship. I see a lot of people trying to dabble with intuition, and it really pisses me off. I'm like, what are you doing? You're a 5-year-old in a fucking brig, and you're trying to touch intuition? Stop it. Stop it. No, you don't get to touch her. Now, she is for the graduates of triadic healing. Learn your place. There's a process. There's a process. So don't touch intuition. Focus on the 3 life titans: subconscious mind and his little sidekick fear system, conscious awareness, and identity. Once you get these 3 giants in place and you get that alignment and balance going, then it's about maintaining it. And then we get to talk about shadow work, which is coming up on Friday. Shadow work is big, but we don't touch shadow work until you understand life titans and you have the tools in place to start tackling identity, who has to be nurtured, and understanding those emotions and how to use them. Once you get emotional management plan up and running, once you get identity nurtured and your defense system turns on, then you're ready to do shadow work. That is when it's time to start kicking down doors on level 2 of your subconscious mind and ripping out those limiting beliefs. But you have a lot of prep work to do. So the way my course runs is you have Triadic Healing, which is part 1. Triadic Healing, it's going to be 3 parts. 2 is shadow work. That's a whole nother baby. And then we have intuition. But you have to be grounded in Triadic Healing before we can continue. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. It looks like this is only going to be a 3 video. We're only going to do 3 videos today. And then I'm going to do your assignment for the 4th video. So thank you so much for joining me. And we'll get right into that 4th video. Thank you.